The voice of the Lord said, "Whom shall I send?" And Isaiah responded, "Here I am, Lord, send me." Hello, I'm Patrick Garreau, President of Catholic Charities in the Diocese of Cleveland. For 100 years, Catholic Charities, like Isaiah, has answered the Lord's call. While there have been thousands of helping hands over these years, there are 6 very special people and groups we want to honor. I invite you to hear their stories as we reflect on a century of serving.
Everywhere you look across Northeast Ohio, we're here. Catholic Charities is serving the poor, the aged, the physically and mentally challenged, the immigrant, the orphan, the newly married, and so many more. Over the past 100 years, none of this would have been possible without the love and commitment of our bishops, priests, nuns, and lay people who are willing to say, "Send me." In 1851, the first Bishop of Cleveland, the Most Reverend Louis Amadeus Rapp, brought the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine from his native France for the purpose of establishing a hospital. Within weeks of arriving, they began visiting the sick and the poor in their homes. People called them angels because of their white habits. In August of 1852, they opened St. Joseph's, Cleveland's first public hospital. By 1856, the sisters felt a strong need to care for abandoned and orphaned children, some the children of patients who died. So the hospital was closed and St. Vincent Orphanage was established. From their humble beginnings, operating out of a 2-story frame house in Ohio City, the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine have answered every challenge. Whether opening a hospital, an orphanage, a nursing program, or a grade school, the Sisters of Charity of St. Augustine have always said, "We're here." Within months of being appointed Cleveland's 4th bishop in 1909, John Patrick Farley formed a panel to study the welfare needs of the 300,000 diocesan population and funding resources. Cleveland was blessed to have such a well-trained leader. Not only had Bishop Farley studied the classics at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., but also at the College of Notre Dame in Belgium. He then earned a doctorate in theology from the American College in Rome, where he also served as Secretary of American Bishops and Spiritual Director. It was said about Bishop Farley, he takes a commendable interest in everything that affects the civic welfare of the community, standing always for the highest standard of living. In short, Bishop Farley told Cleveland's hard-working families, "We're here." In December 1911, Bishop Farley appointed Father Charles H. LeBlanc as the first director of the Diocesan Charities, which would later become the Catholic Charities of Cleveland. After all, who understood the Cleveland Diocese and its needs better? Father LeBlanc and his family moved from Salina, Ohio to Cleveland when he was 5. He attended Mass at St. John Cathedral and graduated from St. Ignatius College and St. Mary Seminary. For over 22 years, Father LeBlanc dedicated himself to serving Greater Cleveland's needy. But by 1919, with over 90 parishes, hospitals, orphanages, infant homes, homes for the aged, and more, he recognized fundraising was more critical than ever. Everywhere you looked, Catholic Charities said, "We're here." The Most Reverend Anthony M. Pilla was named Apostolic Administrator July 29, 1980, and installed as the 9th Bishop of Cleveland on January 6, 1981. Almost immediately, he elevated awareness of the need for peace and justice by speaking out against poverty, social injustice, and environmental abuses. Through Bishop Pilla's support, Cleveland became the largest system of Catholic social action in the nation. His highly acclaimed white paper, Church in the City, addressed the disparity between urban and suburban church resources and invited the churches to work together. It was said about Pilla, he had sharp political instincts which he used to champion the plight of the poor. During his tenure, Bishop Pilla founded the Catholic Schools for Peace and Justice. He intervened during the LTV Steel bankruptcy. spearheaded missionary work in El Salvador, and served as president of the United States Conference of Bishops for 3 years. When it came to being a spiritual leader for the oppressed and those without a voice, Bishop Pillar always said on their behalf, "We're here." As part of his commitment to social justice, one of Bishop Pillar's first appointments was naming Father Walter H. Jenney as Diocesan Director of Catholic Charities in 1980. There could not have been a more ideal candidate. Father Jenney attended Elyria Catholic High School, Borromeo College, and St. Mary's Seminary, but he also received a Master of Social Work degree from the Catholic University of America. His training served him well. After an assignment as associate pastor at Our Lady of Guadalupe in Macedonia, Father Jenney served in residence at Palmerdale. He was appointed Secretary for Social Concerns in 1983 and was the founding chair for the Greater Cleveland Committee on Hunger, which eventually merged into the Cleveland Food Bank. In fact, if you look at Father Jenney's resume, he's been willing to go wherever the church has asked him to serve, even if that meant traveling 2,400 miles to Honduras, a country devastated by Hurricane Mitch. Father Jenney has been St. Basil the Great's pastor since 1994. To the people of small villages like El Rincon, Honduras, Father Jenney said, "We're here." J. Thomas Mullen, Tom, who was president, CEO, and diocesan secretary of Catholic Charities from 1994 until his untimely death in 2010, once wrote, "All human life is sacred, and the dignity of every person must be protected." For Tom, these weren't just hollow words. He regularly greeted homeless people by name, handed them some change, and helped them get to the nearest Catholic agency for assistance. Tom Mullen was often found outside his office, visiting other agencies and talking with the hundreds of thousands of clients and 1,600 associates in the 8-county diocese. With Tom's visionary guidance, Cleveland Catholic Charities became one of the largest social service systems in the world. Just like the prophet Isaiah, J. Thomas Mullen always said, "Here I am, send me." 100 years, 100 stories. Catholic Charities, we've been there, we'll be there, we're here.